Hi everyone. In today's clip, I will talk a little bit about transforming worry into peace. Just a reminder that anything I post here is not meant to diagnose or cure anything and is for informational use only. For any health related matters, please consult your healthcare provider. So, one of the most common issues we have in this day and age is worry. I had posted a clip on spiritual alchemy a while back and I reposted it recently, and seeing that alchemy can happen at all levels, whether it's physical, mental, or spiritual, I thought to sort of dedicate this clip to transforming or alchemizing sort of worry into peace. So one question in mind can be, how do I stop my thoughts so that I can rest? From both old and modern philosophy and psychology point of views, the answer actually surprisingly is similar. You don't stop thoughts by fighting them. You stop feeding them. Imagine a campfire. Every thought is like a small flame. If you keep throwing logs on it, such as what if, why did it happen, what will happen tomorrow, the fire is going to grow. If you stop adding wood, the fire gradually settles down into glowing embers and dies down. We also add fuel to the fire when we discuss the worries that we have with family members and friends, and they add their own side of the worry to it. And before you know it, this campfire has become a full-blown forest fire. The mind works much the same way. In alchemy, we have 7 laws, and 2 of which are called the law of vibration and the law of polarity. These 2 play a major role in transforming from one realm or layer to another. So without going too much into detail about these laws, the law of vibration teaches us that everything in existence is in motion, even if it appears still. Every object, every thought, every emotion, and any form of consciousness has its own rate or quality of vibration. The law of polarity teaches us that everything is dual. Everything has 2 poles. Everything has its pair of opposites. Love and hate are 2 ends of the same stick, right? So love and hate are 2 ends of the same stick. So now, this principle is one of the most profound ideas because it changes how we understand conflict, change, and transformation. First, what is the meaning of polarity? Polarity means that reality often expresses itself through 2 ends of a single spectrum. We commonly divide things into opposites. For example, we say light and dark, hot and cold, love and hate, positive, negative, life and death, good and evil, expansion and extraction, and so on, right? But in essence, these are not always 2 separate realities. They are often different degrees of the same underlying principle. A simple example would be temperature, for example, that has 2 ends. We have cold and we have hot. There's no exact place where cold sort of becomes hot. They blend gradually. Cold and hot are different degrees of the same thing, which is temperature. We can apply this rule to many aspects of our existence and experience. Now, step 1, become the observer. Instead of entering every thought, watch it. For example, a thought appears. What if my health gets worse? Don't answer it. Simply notice there is a worried thought. Let it pass. You are shifting from being the thinker to being the observer of that thought. Step 2, give the mind one simple anchor. The mind dislikes a vacuum. Rather than trying to think about nothing, give it one gentle place to rest on. For example, pay attention to your breathing. As you inhale, silently sort of think to yourself, here. And as you're exhaling, silently think, now. Or any other words. When thoughts sort of wander, gently return to those 2 words, here, now. Step 3, let thoughts sort of drift by. Imagine you're sitting beside the river and each thought is a leaf sort of floating on the water. You don't grab the leaf, you don't chase it, you simply watch it float sort of downstream. Another thought comes, another leaf, again, let it pass. Step 4, relax your body. A busy mind often lives in a tense body. Slow your breathing, relax your jaws, let your shoulders soften, unclench your hands, unclench your jaws. Just relax. The body then tells the brain we're safe enough to rest. Step 5, replace the question. The mind asks, for example, what should I think about? Replace it with, what do I notice? And then notice the weight of your body, the feeling of the blanket, the sound of a fan, the rhythm of your breathing. Attention moves from imagination to direct experience. This is a practice from many meditative sort of traditions. Instead of trying to empty your mind, repeat a simple phrase slowly with your breath. For example, the ones that we said here now, or peace, or be still, or whatever you choose. These or any other words that you use aren't magical. They just gently gather your attention. You want to sort of take your attention elsewhere. One important point is that the mind is designed to think, just like the heart is designed to beat. The goal is not to eliminate thought. The goal is to stop becoming entangled in every thought that appears. So many experienced meditators describe it this way. Thoughts still come. They simply stop demanding my participation. So, rest begins not when the mind becomes silent forever, but when you no longer feel obligated to follow every thought wherever it wants you to go. The quiet shift often allows the mind to settle naturally, like sort of muddy waters becoming clear when the stirring sort of stops. Now, let's look and see how we transform worry into peace through these steps. Worry is a mental vibration that can be transformed. The goal is not to suppress it, but to move it along the spectrum to a higher expression. Worry often sits between fear and thoughtful action. The polarity stick for worry looks something like this. You take panic, you bring it down to worry, you bring it down to concern, bring it down to awareness, bring it down to preparation, bring it down to confidence, and move into peace. We can't expect to try to leap from worry straight to peace. It moves 1 degree at a time. That's how our mind works. So step 1, observe the worry. See, again, we are following the same steps. Instead of saying, I am worried, say, there's a worry in my mind. This shifts you from being immersed in the emotion to observing it. Now, name the worry. Step 2, name the worry. Ask, let's say, what exactly am I worried about? What outcome am I imagining? What evidence supports this outcome? What evidence suggests a different outcome that is possible? Vague worries grow like shadows. Naming them often shrinks them. Step 3, separate facts from imagination. Take a pen and paper and write 2 columns. Facts, what do I actually know? And stories, what am I predicting or assuming? Worry often comes from confusing imagined future with present reality. You're basically confusing what might happen with something that is actually happening. Step 4, ask and find out what is within your control. Draw 2 circles. There's an inner circle and there's an outer circle. Inner circle, you're going to be writing your thoughts, your words, your actions, your preparation. Write these all down. In the outer circle, write things like other people's choices or opinions, the past, the weather, random events, whatever it is that comes to your mind. Now direct your energy towards the inner circle. Step 5, turn worry into a plan. Every genuine worry contains a question. For example, I am worried about my health becomes, what is one action that I can take today? What's one thing that I can do today about this? Maybe, for example, schedule a checkup, go for a walk, eat a nourishing meal, change your diet, get enough sleep. Depending on what it is that you're worried about, you can take a step. You can take one step. Action transforms worry into purpose, right? So, step 6, return to the present. Worry usually lives in the future. So ask yourself, right now, in this specific moment, am I safe? If the answer is yes, let your breathing slow and bring your attention back to what is actually happening right now. Step 7, replace repetitive thinking with trust. Once you've done what you reasonably can do, or reasonably can, continue to replay the same worry no longer is going to serve you. So the practice becomes, I have prepared, I will respond to whatever comes, or as the old saying says or goes, I will cross that bridge when I come to it, or if I come to it. That is confidence, it's not certainty. The transformation and the movement might sort of look something like this. You have gone from worry to clarifying, then to understanding, then to preparing, then taking action, then trusting, and moving into peace. So whenever you notice worry, ask yourself these 5 questions. What am I afraid of losing? What is actually true right now? What can I do today? What must I release because I cannot control? What quality do I want to express instead of worry? Let's say, for example, courage, patience, wisdom, or trust. Each question nudges you a little farther along the polarity stick. The aim is not to eliminate uncertainty because life always contains some. The aim is to shift from being ruled by uncertainty to responding to it with clarity and deliberate action. Hope this has been helpful. My clips are available on TikTok, Telegram, and YouTube. Like, share, and follow for more. Be the light.